Hi guys, welcome back to the layout. Alright, and this will be episode 4 in the video log of this channel. So the layout has a name. Alright, so there's been a little bit happening. It's called the Gracefield branch. Okay, and I'm from the Wellington area, born in Upper Hutt actually. And I was looking for a real location that I could set my model railway in without having to knowing I don't have the space to closely copy the actual track layout of the real thing. In this hobby we've got this thing called compression, where we're compressing a scene into it like a small footprint based on what space we have. This layout's sort of for next thing will be, you can see either ends I have got like exits and entrances. So that initially is, so if I exhibit it next year, it's at an exhibition or two, I can actually put a loop that runs around behind. So at times during the exhibition, where a lot of young people and what have you just enjoy watching the trains go around in between a bit of shunting here and there without having to sort of focus on shunting all the time in sort of a busy environment like an exhibition. But also this there or the other end leaves the door open for a second module. So yes, so it is based on the Gracefield branch, which are still there in part, but the only thing served is really the Hutt workshops, the Kiwi Rail Hutt workshops. So the line runs from Woburn Station on Hutt Valley line, the Upper Hutt line, across to Gracefield and Seaview. It used to continue further around, and then looking at a map, which I'll try and put up on screen, there was some sub-branch lines that went off to serve various industries, and it's got quite a rich history. There was obviously Griffin's and Sons biscuits. Probably the biggest one was ICI G-Lux. There was an oil storage area down in Seaview that would have been served. There was actually probably 3 car manufacturers. I think it was Ford, Todd Motors, who were Mitsubishi, and maybe another brand or two assembly plant. Might have even been General Motors Holden as well, plus some other smaller industries. So I want to have, so while the track plan is not prototypical, some of the industries will be real industries that serviced on this line. So so using some modeller's license, this is a yard which sort of runs parallel to the big Kiwi Rail Hutt shops, workshops, with some compression to the other industries. So before we make it too long, what I've been doing the last evening or so is sussing out the industry. So obviously the size of this layout at the moment, I really only have room for 3, 4 or 5. To add multiple ones, to use the American terminology, this line up the back, the longest siding will be a team track. So, and of course I've got this one in the front, which will have a name, but the imagination will be that the actual building, which is probably not going to be modelled, will be in front of that. And also there was actually a decent sized general freight terminal, which actually serviced flat cars and that, and containers. So yeah, the plan is down here. This will be the Gracefield freight depot. A very small representation of it, which will be 2 sidings. This here with the hard standing will be where a flat car, a UK or one of the newer ones, or even an older style flat car, can be spotted and picked up. They have containers put on it, or other goods that we sort of put on our flat cars here in New Zealand. This one across the back will be more overgrown and buried track, and that will be service a warehouse door, for example, and there might even be a small fence there. So there's going to be a low relief portrayal of the side of a warehouse to sort of depict the Gracefield freight depot. Those of you that don't necessarily know me, yes, it seems like I've made some quick progress, but I reuse a lot of things. So when I dismantle a layout or change something, I keep what I can. And this low relief side of the warehouse was actually built to be a smaller building, probably an O. I was quite happy how it came out. It's just on a bit of foam board, styrene, and some brick card, and I thought I could make that into Sn3 164. So while you're doing the composition thing, I've learnt from experience, and that don't just start sticking and planting things, because we may change our mind. So that's just sitting with the clamp, and I wanted to sort of see where I liked it. This is going to be Dulux, and I wanted to have Dulux on the layout because my grandfather was an accountant for Dulux. So I was looking up some logos, and this sort of based in the 80s and the 90s. I'm going to go with the older one, ICI Dulux. So that's going to be used as a sign on the building. Not too sure what my new corrugated iron depot will be, but that will be given a name. You can see some pallets in there. Quite happy how that's come up, really happy in fact. So we can spot a wagon there. This will probably have, Dulux will probably have provision for a outwards goods store that box wagons, vans are filled. And then obviously being a paint manufacturer and stuff like that, they probably would have had delivery of chemicals. So down this end we could probably spot a tank of some description. In the middle here I'm going to actually just have a low relief representation, like you look through adjacent and you can see the hut workshops. I'm not sure what that sign says actually, but I'm pretty sure that is the hut workshops, but I will double check that just in case actually. But yeah, if I can find a suitable print just to go along there to represent the hut workshops, which won't actually be modelled in the middle, and then have the industries there. I'm going to try and probably right down in the corner just pay tribute to Griffins. This is probably the oldest part of the Griffins factory. Obviously Griffins is all baked and made in China now, but probably not even New Zealand owned, I'm not sure. and we're just going to have a tribute to Griffins down in the corner. We'll sort of see how that looks, but I have to try and blend that in. I may even try and find a better photo. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, guys. But yeah, lots of projects to get on with. Probably by the time you see the next video, I'm going to have this piece of track ballasted. I don't, because I've got, it's representing a newly laid section of track. It's probably not going to be buried. It's going to have nice clean ballast, and we're going to sort of ballast this back siding that goes to the warehouse doors, and just redo some of the existing tracks. Alright, having a ball, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all my new subscribers. Any suggestions for videos or kind constructive comments, please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe and share, and help me promote New Zealand Railways in model form, whether it be HLNZ or 1 to 64, which is what I'm modelling here. Even NZ 120, though it's probably too small for me to model with my eyesight and what have you. Like a big shout out to all the guys doing wonderful things in New Zealand Railways. Bye for now.